No, they don't want that. They'd rather the company calls and says it's raining, stay at home.
That'll be better.
But has that culture changed though? Rains
change.
Disrupting school activities, work activities, and all.
It's a part of the country when it rains, you don't go.
It hasn't changed. It hasn't changed, right?
Not at all.
So you can imagine how productivity would go low today just because it's raining. From the road that I apply, well, it was pretty much free because it was raining. No cars on the road or anything. Traffic. Everybody is stuck indoors, just waiting for the rains to subside so they can come. So they can come out. So you can imagine the traffic between 7 and 8 or 9, and then you get to the office like 10, and then by 2 you are wrapping up. So it means that today productivity, yes, would be very, very low.
Well,
but what are we doing to change this exactly. I mean, it's been recurring year in year out. We don't want to, right? Considering that yesterday was a holiday, correct?
Yes.
So today must be a very productive day. So it means that the rains have taken away from us again. So we are just
technically
we're forgetting about the flats that will come
we are
after
not
the rain
students.
too.
We are
the teachers will stay at home because it's a holiday for their students, so they will have to stay home as well. You know how we always complain about bad roads? But when it starts raining and you don't have to go to work, then you're like,
you're happy
because you can call your boss and say, my road is so bad. Next time,
your road has caved in,
But would bosses take such an excuse? Bad roads?
But if you've been cut off from the rest of the world,
there's nothing they can do
about it.
Well, there's a particular
you have to get a helicopter.
time, I think years ago, when it rained heavily in my area, and it never rained in Accra because you know I live in Tema area, so
it never an excuse
heavily over there. So he didn't understand.
I had a very good excuse, and my boss never did.
I'm sure you sent in videos and stuff like that.
No, those times,
but he believed you, even though it didn't rain in Accra. He believed you.
I think my reputation at the time. That Roland was up to his tricks, but it did really rain.
Wow!
And I was so surprised, but I think as the years went by, I wasn't surprised anymore because sometimes you apply the motorway almost every day, if not every day. It can't start raining at the beginning of the motorway and then stop somewhere, and then by the time you get to the East Legon area, it's raining again.
Yeah, what's the scientific explanation to that?
Oh, it just means that maybe the rain.
It's amazing though.
It means God is blessing only that area.
I'm telling you, because just when you cross over onto the next into the next area, it's so dry.
But to be truthful, the motorway is an 18-kilometer road on one stretch, so 18 kilometers is a lot. I mean, Accra has a radius, from Tetekwashi down to the other end of the Malam area has a radius of around 22 to 25 kilometers.
So it's longer than the motorway, right?
It's just a bit. But you can imagine that because it's a one stretch road, it's only maybe a 7 or sometimes 4 kilometers longer than a one stretch road of the motorway. But because the motorway is one stretch and the way the road was constructed, it makes you drive faster, and you would never acknowledge or never know that you're driving faster.
I've seen a video where it was just a stretch.
Yeah.
And it wasn't in Ghana though. But if this is if this table represents the street, it was raining just
And then when you go to the end of the table, it wasn't raining.
It happens. It happens all the time.
It was just some very
in the middle, right?
And I was wondering what
I've seen that video too.
It happens all the time.
It does. And you know, in Dubai, they conjure the rain.
They artificially blow.
I still don't understand the mechanics of that.
I think they use a technology to whip up rain
from the sky.
The cloud, the rain formation in the cloud.
They're able
through some level of condensation and then evaporation.
Subsequently.
How they were even
get rain from the sky.
How they were even able to construct their beaches with water is something that blows my mind, because they have no water at all, but they are able to create man-made beaches with the sand and then with the water body. The only difference is that it's not wavy, like you don't see the waves, but this is water.
But you also do know that because they don't have natural sources of water, they use seawater, they convert it to only desalination plants that we had at Teshi. As black people, we said it was too expensive to maintain.
I benefited from it.
Oh, you did?
Okay.
Because I lived in Teshi for a long time. So when they started that project, because Teshi is one place where you barely get water. I mean, tap water wasn't flowing. So everybody literally
jerry cans, those yellow,
exactly.
You know, so
when that project started, it was really good for us because we were getting water, and then for some reason it stopped.
Yeah, because we criticized there were people who were criticizing the Ghana Water Company for constantly complaining that they were making losses, etc. But if you look at the way we've been transmitting utility services, there are a lot of losses along the transmission line. So, for example, if it's electricity, there are a lot of losses. We're not able to do the metering right. There are a lot of legal connections, and then the corrections that needed to be done on those lines are also not well done. Look, I keep saying that if you look at Dubai, if you ever visited Dubai, let's say 2004, and you visited Dubai in 2015, and now it's even one of the best cities in the world, you can think about what money and focused leadership can do. Right. And if you have to think about how focused leadership also has to go with a certain plan. And in our part of the world where we have decided to name ourselves Sub-Saharan Africa, that is where the black people live in Africa. And the underdevelopment, even though you look at the amount, billions of dollars that are pumped yearly into our country, and we have some of the worst services, some of the worst systems, some of the worst utilities. I don't know what to say. Sometimes it baffles my mind because we have everybody serving in every government and institution who has gone to a school either in Leeds University, has gone to some Australian university, has gone to some Chinese university or some top American university, and they still can't compete with their compatriots who they claim they were scoring A's over in Europe and now Asia and the Middle East. How do they do it that we can't do it?
So here's where we want to pick your mind. Yesterday in studio, we had a very extensive conversation with Professor Asa Santi and then lawyer. Exactly.
Yeah. I was following through in between, but the network was bad, so I went off.
And we were here in studio trying to even wrap our minds around how we are 66 years. 66.
Yeah.
God. 66.
No.
66.
Oh, is it the pronunciation?
66.
Or the word itself just...
No, the pronunciation.
Okay.
66.
I thought I just baffled.
Hey,
English. Did you drink rainwater
66. No, I drank ginger tea. 66.
Yes. 66.
And we are still here crying over shortage of vaccines for infants. I mean, babies here in this country. And yesterday there was one point I wanted to make, but it totally escaped me. You know, in our hospitals, they keep data. So that's how we are able to know that from the last census, you can actually estimate that there'll be probably 2 million more newborns when we run the next census and all that. It's because we keep data. So in these hospitals, who was keeping data to notice that, okay, so we are running out of vaccines for measles, we are running out of vaccines for tuberculosis and for polio and all that.
Who said?
Who was? No, I'm coming. So who was keeping the data and who was transmitting the information to the appropriate authorities to be able to bring these vaccines into the country? How do we sit in this day and age for us to run out of vaccines? Yesterday when you were in the Volta region, was everybody excited about the fact that the independence celebration had come there? Were they, what were the sentiments on ground? We want to understand. Were they just carried away by the pomp and pageantry, or they could understand that there are issues that must be addressed, even as the Volta region has been crying for development?
I think it's two-faced. The one side of the public opinion there that says that the independence celebrations and the expenditure thereof could have been used in other ways to also improve development, or perhaps refocus the development if it was meant to be convened in the Volta region. Because I tell you what, immediately you cross the Adomi Bridge, God worked a miracle. The miracle manifested in the filling of potholes up to Hope.
You are joking.
I'm not joking.
So it can be done.
A single problem.
It can be done.
Just because we had a program.
So it can be
where
done.
Diplomats with waving flags of their countries stacked or hoisted on their cars.
So miraculously, all potholes.
All potholes. So when I was going, all the potholes that were from the Akwemu areas
miraculously vanished.
Frankedria, they all were filled, nicely filled. Even there's a place around Asikuma Junction, which is a hole where the custom and immigration officials usually are. You get to the Asikuma Junction, then you branch, you go to Have Pando, and then this one takes you to Hole. That place,
nicely done.
The bitumen there, flats. It be flat like motorway.
I wish you had filmed it for us to see.
Sauce skits.
So scared.
This is Ghana.
So we can do compare and contrast.
So we can do. It is doable.
So I kept asking myself, is it deliberate that we can do things and we don't do? And do we have to do actions or things? I don't know who they were pleasing. It could be possible they were pleasing the president. Maybe the oversight minister was pleasing the president, or were pleasing the visitors who will be coming in. Because to go to the Volta regional capital, sometimes it is stressful.
It is.
On the other side, for example, the Pando Road, where you have to go from Peki, etc., to Dume, where the road should have been constructed 7 years ago, hasn't been constructed because we stalled the contract and had to re-award it, etc. Maybe if the independence celebration was done there, maybe that road would have been done.
Exactly.
And so it brought me into sharp focus to think that, look, what is the plan for Ghana? Because the issues about shortage of vaccines, things we can do for ourselves, are things that other countries just do by the norm. Even for when I was doing my annual test this year, the kit for HIV kits to just do a test was also short in supply.
Can you imagine?
How did I know that it was short in supply? I was told that, oh, go and come in 3 days. I said, okay, let me give them a week. So I went back a week.
After a week.
And they still didn't have it. I don't want to name the hospital. They still didn't have it.
HIV testing kits.
And I'm sure it doesn't extend to only, there are maybe other viral disease testing kits that are also not available. So you keep asking yourself, is it that the skin, when the skin is dark,
black,
then the brain too is black? Because
the black man is capable of managing
his own affairs.
No, that is the brain of Kwame Nkrumah.
And we're a proud nation.
The proud nation, he borrowed it from Kwame Nkrumah, but because he's a black one, he can't implement what Kwame Nkrumah had.
So what is wrong with us?
Because you go to the Arabian countries and how they've turned their countries. You go to Singapore, Malaysia, and some of the things that they've done with just basic things that we joke with, like coconuts, the husk of coconuts, the palm fruits. After they do the deshelling or whatever, the husking or whatever term that we want, and the byproduct. So look, this is Dubai, 1991, 2017. This is Dubai.
Can you imagine?
You know, sometimes it has to take an effort.
And this was even 2017, you know. So 2023 by now.
But you never go to Dubai in 3 months and see
and it's the same thing. There's always something different.
And you know what?
Can you imagine?
I wish that sometimes those who went to the Yale, because we went to University of Ghana, UPSA, KNUST. Okay, so I think that our local universities, they don't breed us well, they don't educate us well. But those who went to Yale, Birmingham, those people who serve in public office are supposed to be implemented. If they will look at what their counterparts, let's say in the UAE, Bahrain, and so they've done with their resources. They even don't have gold, they just have oil. Of course, they have lots of it, but they put it to good use.
But you know, be the same oil we get when Nigeria to get.
Yeah,
we get oil now.
So the same black people.
We get the oil.
People, you know, so it just shows you
that
black people.
We don't get them more. We get them for
it just shows you that black people, we think differently. Because look, if you open Facebook right now, there are $2,000, $3,000 USD packages for you to travel to Dubai.
Yeah,
it's so cheap.
Yeah,
I know. I know. Travel within Africa,
it's so
that's
cheap.
More expensive.
It's so cheap. $2,000, $3,000 to travel. Let's say you go and pay a room with a friend or a family or a companion or something. But you know, it's not the fare or the package. It's the amount of money you're going to spend in their country.
Everything.
Because Dubai is not cheap.
Exactly. It's expensive.
Yes. South Africa was with us when they were Friday. You think that if the I always say if the whites had left South Africa, it's good that they left. They decided to gain their independence in 1994. for all those anti-imperialists, etc., apartheid, etc., it's not a good thing. But the thing is, because they have a stake in the country, they keep the country.
Look how they're
And so I asked the gentleman, Tekiso. Okay, Tekiso. Why is it that they don't travel out of their country?
What do they need?
And that was before we went on. And he says that we have everything we need in our country. I said, what the heck?
They don't need it.
And he said, you just have to travel. You haven't to South Africa before.
They don't need it.
No. He said, when you go to Hatton, and you go to Hatton. So where is Hatton? So Johannesburg. It's like Europe. Why should I travel out of?
And I told you,
were saying the thing so casually. And that is the truth.
So the Airbnb, I will say this over and over again. Airbnb, I mean apartments that you stay in, or you live in when you travel outside.
Stay.
It shares a wall with the American embassy in Sandton. Look, when I look onto the compound, there's nobody there. There's no queue. There's nothing. Go to the American embassy this morning, even in this rain, and see the number of people who are outside standing in the queue. And that reminds me, though, why don't they provide like comfortable seating for us?
We have allowed this.
Yeah,
I've always thought about it. Why don't they provide comfortable seating and we are all in queues all through and through until you get inside? I don't understand it. Why are we standing, queuing and asking for visas whilst we've paid for visa fees? It's something that I really don't understand.
I have to say that
I really don't understand
I
it.
don't think we'll get there. But there was something the president said yesterday, and I kept questioning him the whole time, because he said that yes, we may have a lot of challenges, but we shouldn't focus on the problems and the negatives. We should rather focus on all the good things that are happening for our country. And it was something that lawyer Kizia Mwakwa said as well yesterday, and I kept asking myself that if you're saying there are good things, what are the good things, really?
Yeah.
Are you comfortable as a leader or as a government official being in Ho when hospitals are crying for vaccines for babies, when fathers and mothers are complaining? And I said it yesterday that I saw a tweet. Someone said a vaccine that his baby was supposed to take at 1.5-year-old, the baby had to wait till 2 years before the baby could get the vaccine, because everywhere he went, they told him that, I'm sorry, we don't have the vaccine, move to another place. How much was spent on this celebration yesterday? And did we really need to spend whatever amount, even if it was 1 Ghana cedi? Did we need to spend it yesterday on this ceremony? Yes, it's independence. We all have to mark it and we all have to celebrate it. But can we sacrifice just that 1 day of celebration so that we get leaders who say that we understand that the country is not where we hope that it would be. So we're going to invest that money in fixing whatever problems. It may not amount to much, but just even the effort of telling Ghanaians that I'm going to do this in place of having a ceremony, only God knows how much we would have saved, because they drove cars there. A lot of people moved there. Did the state pay for all the fuel that's, was used for the cars that were driven there? All those things we need to question and find out how much was spent on that, and was it even worth it? I mean, you have to address all those things before you tell us that yes, we have problems, but I would entreat you all to focus on the good. If I'm hungry and I haven't eaten in 2 days, I don't know how you're expecting me to focus on the good. Where is the good around me? When my money is being taken away from me, I've been forced to sign on some way, somehow, even though they tell us it's voluntary, I'm still being forced indirectly to sign on to the domestic debt exchange program. I'm losing money. And I sit down and smile and say, it doesn't matter because I have light at home.
And we end
so
this
it's
together.
okay. I'm even paying more for electricity as I sit. So how do I focus on the good things and tell me that, well, there's no doom saw, so, Ghanaians
and we are not
queuing
queuing for fuel.
I respect the president, but yesterday I was not happy about that statement because I was worried. And I'm sure every Ghanaian is worried. And it's as if they never really listen to the concerns of Ghanaians who tell them that constantly, we don't think you should spend on this. But the more we drum on that, the more they tend to, lean towards that thing that Ghanaians don't want to accept. And I don't see why and how. I don't understand.
Yeah. So it's like we just have to accept that all of it cannot work at one time. So manage the doom saw, the light that is not going off. Manage that you are not queuing for the fuel, but the other one, understand that we are having problems. That's what they're trying to tell us,
good.
So it means that all of it cannot work well at one time. So maybe if 3 out of 10 needs for the Ghanaian is working, it's okay. Like manage it, because we are not in ordinary times.
Ghanaians are really suffering.
Hey, Charlie.
We are, and I hope that authorities would even admit to it that things are that bad. Are they admitting? I don't know.
Rotation of independence celebration, I think, is a good thing.
Oh, it's great.
Okay.
It's great. The decision point is many people were happy yesterday that they got to see choppers or helicopters, the president up close, etc. But do we take such decisions in a heartbeat? For example, would I make a decision to go to the mall or go to the local so-called provision store in my area when I'm broke?
Yeah,
you can.
It's a decision you have to make, because when I go to the mall, I'll pay for the other auxiliary services, the air conditioning, the ambience, the there are a lot of things that rack up the bill for the mall. Right. Do you understand?
Exactly.
And we have things that are made for categories of people, and the mall is not for people who just want to go there for fancy sake. And currently, even the malls, you go there, there used to be people who used to come from various places just to go and do window shopping or just go and watch the place. Now they don't, because maybe transport even to the place is saying, look, we have to acknowledge that the country is not in a good place. It is not talking about it that is making the country look bad. It is the actions that need to be taken by the people responsible who are not taking those actions that has gotten us where we are. All the countries that we talk about, Dubai, etc., they use science, they use technology, they use engineering, they use math, they use creativity. Just look at how entertainment gives a lot of money to America and India.
Listen, Korea is going to buy businesses in America because they want to go back to #1 spot with K-pop. That's what they're thinking about. How to take over America. Because they've realized that Afrobeats is taking over and Latin music is taking over. And they are not happy. So the man says, I'm going to buy businesses so that I can push K-pop,
especially with their lead producer who has not subsequently, but has promoted BTS.
Oh my Gangnam Style.
And sometimes when we're talking about some of these things, we talk about them because we also have hindsight. Maybe back in the day, you can insult journalists and say maybe journalists were not educated. But look, we're educated with our classmates are in government.
Even the common man on the streets
our
now
classmates
is very
are serving in public office. We all sit in the same MBA or MSc or whatever class it is that we sit. And we know that the way we are developing is it is just not sustainable.
It's not.
Look, when we had independence, we were 6 million. 5-6 million.
Yes. Now we are 33.
That time, even the motorway was deemed to be too expensive and too big and too luxurious. Now look at the motorway. It's a shark. You go on that motorway and you're not careful. You keep driving as if you're driving on some first class road. You would die.
Kill yourself.
And that's how bad our country has deteriorated. Look, nobody's saying progress has not been made. Has adequate progress been made? Should be the question we should be asking. Currently, as Sissy said, we should be asking, what plan are we moving with?
Do we have a national agenda?
Yes.
And are we willing to go with it?
And are we willing to have, let's say, NDC come and do a continuum of what MPP does, and then MPP also does a continuum
they'll
of...
scrap it. They'll scrap it, put it in the corner and start a whole new project.
I know that when we say this, so that we continue the hospital here and education, that is not the point. The point is the bigger strategy. Why would Dubai build some or decide to explore oil by themselves, or if they had gold, they would have had their own engineers doing it. You know, we have to invite what do we call them, foreign investors. If let's say the owners of MTN, the owners of Vodafone decide that we're pulling our resources out of Ghana today.
That's it.
Our telecom industry will shut down.
We have
yesterday.
We've got Airtel Tigo, honey. Excuse you.
We bought at 1 Ghana.
Hello, 1 Ghana. Excuse you. We've got Airtel Tigo.
Yesterday, we were there. The networks just froze on us because there were too many people.
Really?
It happens.
You want to watch your network.
When too many people converge at one point.
Look, but naturally the network is not too great when you move outside Accra.
Sure.
No, but they've got the telecom masts are there. The telecom companies have all their masts over there. So it shouldn't even be the case.
I know, but it's never really the best.
Plus, it's not only one network anyway. So it's MTN, Airtel Tigo, Vodafone, and all of
them have their challenges when you move outside the city.
It's amazing.
They all have their challenges.
You know, so at the end of the day, we have to ask ourselves, what plans are we moving with? From 66, are we going to be 70? 66. Are we going to be 80? when are we even supposed to finish with the bondholders? 2037. 2037. When
23.
Yeah. 23 actually.
Then we have 7 more years to 30. Then 7 more years to 2037. That's 14 years. So if you're having 10 billion, by the time you recover your 10 billion with all the interest that you need, it's 14 years time.
And time
How
value
old would
of
I have
money.
been?
Time value of money.
85 years.
Time value of money. Time value of money. 0. Time value of money. Anyway, is the biter ready? Is he ready to bite?
Allah.
You look really stunning today, by the way, with your
Yeah.
your allergy. Listen.
Yeah, talking about that. Yeah, let me give some shout out.
Okay. All right.
I want to say shout out to the Minister of Education.
Ah,
I saw him yesterday.
he gave you the fugu.
No, I saw him yesterday.
You know, a friend of mine called me and asked,
He was
I
in
hope
the
Roland
Volta
took a
region.
picture with the education minister.
Yeah,
He was in the Volta region.
Yeah, he was. He was acknowledged.
He was
when
in
he
the,
arrived.
I didn't hear that.
when they were doing the parade.
Right.
Yeah, he was in there. He did fantastic.
Wow.
Because they had a lot of school children
Right.
who also, and apparently some nice schools are also being undertaken by him. And Dr. Yao said the truth. Every time when I say, you will say that
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I'm doing.
If it ain't
Did you take a
broke,
picture
don't
with
fix
him?
it.
No, he was too far. No, it was a VVIP, and I was just local.
No, but he should give you priority.
Yeah.
Listen, wherever you are,
He should
he
give
needs
you
to come to you
If it
because
ain't broke, don't
I want you to
fix
mention his
it.
name every morning.
And then also I saw some great people. So for example, Togbui Agbo Bada the fourth is a senior divisional chief of Adaklu State and Dufia of Adaklu Amfoy. Good morning to you. I saw you as well. That was a great one. Stella Vijiro, you're the district environmental health officer at Adaklu. Good morning to you as well. Geshin Kofi Jokoto, Volta regional manager for the Ghana Red Cross. Jimaima Damali, Victoria Awume, Moses Amiemu, as well as Atongo, you're called Yao Blame. You're the Akachi district officer for the Red Cross. Oh, okay. Yeah, you did great as well. And then also, my car was towed yesterday.
Oh, it was towed?
Yeah, it was towed because I parked wrongly. You know, I went there.
In the Volta. Oh, you drove?
I went there at dawn, yeah. So it was towed by the police. So
you're giving them a shout out?
Yeah, no, they helped him out.
So they allowed me.
They helped him out.
So Chief Inspector Prince Sampima, you're with MTTD.
Oh, thank you so much.
Chief Inspector
Prince Ampima.
They towed your car. Why? Where did you leave it?
I parked by the side lot.
On the shoulder of the road.
Yeah, you know, closer to the place. Because I went there, there was nobody at the time. Yeah, so Chief Inspector Abdullah Dinjuma, you're with the Volta Region MTTD. Charlie, much shout out to
you. Lucky you. Like you walked out.
Unless you run away.
And then Martin Ojide, you're also with her. I have to say that it was a great time.
Thank you for taking care of Roland for us.
What did you eat exactly?
Yeah, what did you eat?
I ate
at Didome.
No, I ate
Didome is a town. What did you eat?
So I ate akpele and then tilapia soup.
Well, there was an akpele festival.
The hell there.
I saw it on social media yesterday, but I'm not sure if it was in Ho. But there was an akpele festival that really caught on, just like the Gobe festival that we had. I'll look into it and bring the details. But yes, there was an akpele festival.
Maybe they wanted to rival our Gobe festival. So.
If you're watching and you know where it was held, let us know.
Yeah, was it yesterday?
Saturday.
The event was
Saturday.
Gobe festival was
on Saturday.
And yesterday was the 6th March, right?
Yes.
People were telling me, hey, have you eaten the Gobe? I think what we did on Friday or something. So they were talking about the Gobe. And then, especially, I think that you ladies, we say, where's Cookie? Where's Bella?
Next time.
Volta region, you hold a special place in our hearts.
We will come soon. We'll come soon.
It was really nice.
Get that plan.
The roads that were fixed in are shocked. No,
you give it 2 months. Maybe in 2 months or 3 months you should go back and see.
No. It will be in good shape.
I'm just saying maybe.
The roads were fixed.
I'm not saying it will be bad, but just go back and check.
It will be in good shape.
Check.
Nanado is fixing the country. Hello, he says be patient. We are all in this
together.
Roads
are suffering. Goats are suffering.
Why you want to sound like Dr. Balbia?
Schools are suffering. Ghanaians are suffering.
Nursing trainees
are suffering.
Teacher trainees
are suffering.
Market women
are suffering. And the potholes are suffering.
They are being fixed. 10,000.
Well, Dr. Salifu Combat, it's by your courtesy that I have this. You decided to send this to me to mark Ghana Month. I'm grateful.
I like the combination.
And then Dr. Salifu Combat is with Combat Pharmacy Group in Boku. And so they need a piece in Boku as well. He works with the Government Presbyterian Hospital. And then also your wife Flora. You say you have 3 more coming in. You selected some nice ones, so I'll acknowledge you. Boku inside.
But he should send us some for females. We would love to wear them as well. Yeah. They've got some for females.
He asked me, and I said, you people.
We for what?
It's beautiful on men. I think you should stay on the men.
No.
Thank you.
He asked me, but
I'm not sure.
I said, you people.
I've tried it before and it didn't really fit the way I wanted. So I like it on the men. But I
sincerely, the wife asked me, Flora.
No, Sibella dear.
No,
So we're grateful, Auntie Flora.
Cookie and Bella.
If you can give us the fitted one.
There's no fitted one.
If it's not
you make it fitted.
There's no fitted.
Then the top will be.
No, there's no
fitted. You have to be done with some
that.
beading and some things.
Oh, we don't need a beat. I think it's fine like this.
Okay.
But the big one, it looks fine. I look lost in it.
Yeah, like me too, eh?
Oh, no. This is really nice. Honestly, I walked in and I love this.
To be sincere, somebody told me that, Roland, you have to make sure that they size it up to fit your body.
You are lost in there.
This year.
Let me say thank you, by the way, to Sheila Bonsu as well.
I posted this. I posted this.
You can find it on Instagram at Sheila Bonsu_RTW. It's Ghana Month, so we'll be seeing a lot of African print clothes. So Sheila, thank you.
I posted this phone and people were insulting me.
That's what?
That me, I don't have the phone. I'm only taking cookies for.
You are getting some.
It is extra.
You are getting some.
Can you say good morning to Samsung? Just like you be saying good morning to the education minister.
Samsung.
Yes.
Samsung S.
Say good morning to
23 Ultra managers.
What's the managers?
Yeah, managers. And so people were insulting me that you don't have it and only
can you even take a selfie? And while we play Nanka bed and
you get it soon. Okay, you get it soon.
Shall I take this thing? The thing. Is it me on the hand? No, take close up of the take take my cam.
Cam 3.
I'm taking shots.
Your next interview with the education minister, use this phone
exactly
to record it.
I know. I think.
Yeah.
Actually, you ladies, you are so sharp. Why are you from Dubai?
We are Ghanaians, but we think differently. We are Ghanaians who think differently.
You think like I'm Dubai.
I know, right?
Oh my days. We'll be right back. This is still TV3 New Day. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.